Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of the day that you may be viewing this video lecture. Allow me to first introduce myself, as I believe this would be the first time that we all will be getting to know each other by face and by name at the same time. I am Roda Janea Lanshola from Tagum City, Davao del Norte. And by profession, I am a college instructor. And just like all of you here right now, I am taking up this graduate program to build upon my bachelor's degree of Bachelor of Arts in Communication and Media Arts, hopefully to get into development work in this field in the future. So, we are now in Module 2 of the course Development Communication 206, Production of Print and Radio Development Communication Materials. Now, in this module, we will be tackling the different types of print communication materials, and for this specific report, we shall put our focus on two of these types, which are newsletters and abstracts. Without further ado, let's first delve on newsletters and let's get to know this print material a little bit better than I think we already do. As I would probably guess, newsletters are no stranger to many of us, as I think we may all have one too many emails sitting in our inboxes of newsletters from various companies that we may or may not have deliberately subscribed to. Now, according to Lustria, Tabing, and Osalia 2001, these are printed or electronic publications intended to share relevant information that is in the interests of a particular business, organization, or group. Currently, there are two ways that newsletters are distributed, and once again, that is either through actual printed documents or electronic ones. As explained by Printing for Less, printed newsletters are tangible documents delivered to the customer's mailboxes, while digital newsletters, which are what is most common nowadays, are pieces of online content sent to their email. Regardless of how it is distributed, newsletters are utilized to build credibility for the company and connections with their customers. That is why newsletters are indeed helpful for companies as a marketing or advertising tool, because through their short form articles, whether it's straight news stories, news briefs, news features, or feature articles, these customer stakeholders get to read firsthand information directly coming from the company and what the company is all about, what they are up to, what they are selling, or simply what they wish to convey. Now, pursuant to the objectives of this module, let's see what sets newsletters apart from other types of print communication materials, especially the likes of newspapers, leaflets, and magazines. The University of North Florida has provided a comprehensive list of newsletter characteristics that tells us exactly what is in a newsletter and what comprises its distinct components. With regards to its authors, they may not be listed at all, as articles are typically brief and are frequently consisting of announcements of upcoming events or brief news items or anything of interest to members of an association or society or club. As for its frequency of publication, they may either be regular or sporadic. This is only depending on the organization's prerogative or if the need arises. That is when news affecting or of interest to members becomes available. Brevity is also a distinct characteristic of newsletters, as their articles are typically very brief, usually consisting only of a few paragraphs each. This characteristic is also brought upon by formatting constraints of a newsletter. Typically, this adopts only the letter size paper dimensions when it is printed for 2 pages. That's 8.5 by 11 inch, but smaller than that when one wishes to have more than 2 pages. Publishers have to consider, of course, the size limitations for mailing purposes. Now, for digital ones, you don't want it too lengthy, as it could no longer be laptop or mobile friendly interface. And the last characteristic that is important for us to distinguish from a newsletter is its subject focus. Now, newsletters typically focus on topics that are very specific to a particular organization or club news. Items might include announcements of training, opportunities for upcoming conferences, updates on the initiatives, and even personal notices about members of the organization that publishes the newsletter. Notably, the content of a newsletter is very organization specific, that is intended to be received directly by its members, customers, or subscribers. So, suffice it to say, if you do not subscribe to such an organization or company, then their newsletter may not be for you. Now, on that note, it's interesting to consider that the intents of a newsletter, that is, information dissemination in brief formats, marketing, establishing connections, and all the others, can be easily achieved now through social media. This brings us to the question of whether or not newsletters are still relevant in our media landscape today. So, for our discussion prompt, consider the question: do you think printed newsletters are still relevant means for organizations to share information to their members when you can easily just do the same on social media with minimal expenses? You may post your insight as a reply under this discussion forum, and I would love to read your 2 cents on this question. But for the meantime, let's jump to abstracts. I know this is not at all foreign to many of us, as we all have had our fair share experiences in research. So that is just to take this opportunity to be reacquainted with the basics of writing an abstract and go back to its core importance to, of course, gain a deeper appreciation for this particular print material. Once again, according to our main reference material, Lastria, Tabing, and Osalia 2001, abstracts are a brief summary of the important details of the contents of a document. This is where you can find all the information necessary to somehow give you a glimpse of what is truly in the document without having to read the whole thing at once. Which is why they're also called document surrogates, for being able to substitute for the document itself. Now, another reason why they are so pertinent to documents, especially research, is because they are especially helpful in simplifying databases for serving as links to the original document, accompanied by keywords or terms related to the study. Because of this, one does not merely need to rely on the title for finding a specific document. You need only to search for these keywords and verify the content by reading the abstract. It seems simple and helpful enough, especially for a researcher who has to scour so many papers at once. Now, in its very brief form, abstract typically includes these 6 components to ensure that all necessary information can be found in it. Number 1 is the significance of the study, the problem of the study that it aimed to address. Next is the objectives of the study, the methodology that was being employed, the significant findings from the methods executed, and the main conclusions and recommendations. Now, these are not hard and fast rules of writing the abstract, as some of these components may either already come together or be implied among each other. This, of course, depends upon the researcher on how these components can be ensured, and, of course, the research advisor if such a format is permitted. But what's important is that one is still adhering to the qualities of a good abstract. Now, what are these qualities? These qualities of a good abstract may be encapsulated in this abbreviation: C, A, B, and S, where C stands for clear. That means all the information that you wish to give are easily comprehensible, leaving no room for ambiguity within the abstract. A is for accurate, of course, to ensure that all the information in the abstract given are correct. B, most importantly, is for brief. You don't want it too lengthy. Ideally, it's within 250 words to 300. at most. But again, that depends upon the format that your research advisor advises you to follow. And S, lastly, to ensure that all information should be included. We don't want questions to raise while one is reading the abstract. So, once again, for it to be a good abstract, it has to have these qualities to ensure that the readers, upon reading the whole thing at once, is able to understand what is already within the document without having to really go deeper into the document just yet. So, we have here an example of an abstract that we can dive into to determine what makes an abstract good. Now, you may pause this video to read the abstract in full. Ayan. Now, what's notable about this abstract is that though it doesn't specifically state why the problem is worth researching, it is clearly implied as the study focuses on addiction. Now, upon reading the abstract as well, one can already get the clear picture of what the study is all about, what they have done to arrive to the results that they found in the course of a few sentences only, which is ultimately what you want to achieve when writing your abstract. You want the readers, once again, to fully understand what they will be diving into in the full document just by reading the one paragraph abstract you have prepared for them at the very beginning. Now, to once again open the floor for a fruitful discussion on this topic, I want us to draw from your own experiences of writing abstracts for your thesis or research endeavors. What are pitfalls that you would advise a newbie to avoid in writing their own abstracts? Now, of course, every research endeavor is a learning experience, and this discussion forum is no different. So please feel free to share. Once again, the reply section is wide open for your insights regarding this. I am highly looking forward to your responses and to interacting with you in our virtual classroom. For now, I would have to end this report on that note, and I'll be seeing you in the replies under this post. Thank you for listening, and virtually, see you all around.